Moral of the story, be careful when you go down the Sims rabbit hole when you're like playing the Sims 4 or something, because you may never get out. Hey guys, what's up? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. I can't believe I'm actually doing this on time. Yay for me. Or not. Anyway, here is my May reading wrap up. Alright, so this was a lot slower of a reading month than I normally would have liked. I know that I read pretty much the same amount of books that I did last month, but I had like a straight week where I didn't read anything at all. Moral of the story, be careful when you go down the Sims rabbit hole when you're like playing the Sims 4 or something, because you may never get out. And that's kind of what happened to me. And I lost some good quality reading time. But anyways, moving on. Alright, so the first book I read this month was like 5-star, infinity star, amazing. And that was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't know why I put this one off for so long, but this was absolutely incredible. I did actually audiobook this one because I had a lot of things going on that week and I wouldn't have been able to read if I hadn't have audiobooked, but it was still really good. The narrator did a great job. I was so invested. When sad things happened, I cried. Like, this book was just absolutely perfect. I do want to reread it again in the future. I want more books like from this era time, like the 50s, 60s. It's very interesting to me, but this was obviously a perfect 5 out of 5 stars for me. Alright, and then for a really quick read after that, I read Ricochet. This is the second book in the Addicted/Calloway Sisters series by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I know a lot of people don't like this one because it is very, very short. In fact, Lo isn't even in this book at all because he's away at rehab, so it's more about Lily's journey of bettering herself while he's off bettering himself, and I really, really loved it. I relate a lot to Lily, not with the sex addict thing, of course, but with being antisocial and isolating yourself from your family because you don't want them to know your problems and only relying on your partner to be the sole one to get you out of everything. And obviously Lily's complete and utterly big nerdiness. Like, I'm all there for that. So I did rate this one a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I read this in a couple hours. It was just a really quick, easy read to get you ready for book 3. Okay, and then I read Gothic Hannah on my Kindle. This was like a dark fantasy romance. There really wasn't much to this. Like, it was kind of forgettable for me. Like, it was enjoyable at the time, but I don't really remember now thinking back to it. But basically, you have your female main character. She finds out that there's like this secret college in a castle somewhere far off in the woods or something like that. And then there she meets a professor. He is tall, dark, and handsome. There's a no faculty student fraternizing rule, whatever. Obviously they break it. I think part of my problem with this book, I was not very keen on the writing style. This is the first book that I've read by this author, so I don't know if that's the way that they write in all their books, but it was written in third person and it was just very confusing at times with the way that it was written, like I said. But I had a good time reading it. It's not that memorable afterwards. But anyways, so that was like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, and then last month I had read the first 3 books in the Shatter Me series. And this month I finished with books 4, 5, and 6. And like I said in my last wrap up, these ones are optional because the author originally ended the series at 3, but there was just such like a big hype and fan base for it that she wrote 3 more. I enjoyed them as equally. There is a plot twist that is thrown in these books, and it really like widens the story and it widens the world, and it really, really makes Aaron Warner even more. And like his relationship with Juliet, it's kind of one of those like they are meant to be, they are supposed to be, they've kind of always been like chasing each other kind of thing. Like I said, there's more to it, so definitely read these ones if you have already read the first 3. Okay, and then I read Praise on my Kindle by Cate. This one is one that is all over Bookstagram right now. This is going to be your typical like billionaire CEO romance. This is ex-boyfriend's father trope, so that was really fun and interesting. Obviously, you have age gap. The thing about this one is he is like the CEO of a sex club, and so there's big time praise kink in this book. Like, he's all about, he always hires a woman to like come into his office and just like kneel for him, and like I said, it's a praise thing. There's petting and stuff. And so at the beginning of the story, our heroine, she needs to go get a rent deposit check, but it got mailed to the boyfriend's father because he didn't have a forwarding address. So she has to go to the father's house to pick up this check, and when she's there, he mistakes her for one of his praise girls. So when he walks in, he's like, you need to be kneeling on the floor and everything like that. And she's like, okay. And she kind of just starts going for it. And then he finds out that that is his son's ex-girlfriend, and things go from there. And then he ends up offering her a job because he feels bad. So then you're going to have like a workplace romance. It was really good. I didn't like rave about it like everybody else. I think I actually rated it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but it was still good. It was a good fun time. I'll probably get to the rest of the series, but it's just like not high on my priority list right now. Then I read Twisted Loyalties by Cora Rielly on my Kindle. This was like the first Cora Rielly book I've ever read. I really enjoyed this. This one was recommended to me by a friend. She went on this huge Mafia kick, and she's like, you need to read this one. So I really did enjoy it. I have not read a whole lot of Mafia books. I think if I can count off the top of my head, I've probably read like 6 or 7. But I really enjoyed this one. It took place in Vegas, so I really liked that aspect because like most of the Mafia books, you know, I've read are New York or Chicago based. So it was really kind of nice to get a Las Vegas setting and talk about the strip and everything like that. But basically our female main character, she has just moved to Vegas. She's moved in with her dad, who is a piece of crap drunk who beats her. And our obviously male main lead, he works for the Mafia. He's not the Mafia boss. He's like the second in command or something. And so he meets her walking down the street when it's like drenched, raining down, pouring, everything like that. He gives her a ride, gets her some food, and then tells her where she can go to get a job. And it ends up being like this cage fighting bar. And our story basically picks up from there. But he's very possessive, obviously, and he makes it known to the entire Las Vegas strip that she belongs to him. And I just really liked it. It was a good, nice, like, escapism read. This was a 4 out of 5 stars for me. Okay, then I finally got to Kulti on my Mariana Zapata list. I have 2 more, like, top-tier Mariana books to read after this, so I'm, like, dragging them out as quickly as I can, because Mariana needs to like announce a new book release at this point. I'm going crazy because All Roads Lead Here came out last year, so it's like, where's your next book, Mariana? But anyway, I loved this one. It was obviously a 5 out of 5. Mariana Zapata books do not miss for me. I'm not going to talk about this one because everybody pretty much knows, but it is Grumpy Sunshine. It is a sports romance. It is age gap. Rainier Kulti was just, I love this. I ate up every minute of it. I mean, obviously you can see. Well, I guess you can't see. Okay, I'm going to stop showing the book anyway. But I tabbed a lot. So, 5 out of 5, maybe infinity stars. I don't know, but perfect. Okay, so this next one was actually on my most anticipated reads of 2022. So I was so excited for it. But at the same time, I was very, very apprehensive, and I will explain why. So it is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and the reason that I was so excited but so nervous at the same time is because Beach Read was one of my favorite books last year, like top 3, top 4, something like that. I absolutely loved it. People We Meet on Vacation was actually probably one of my least favorite books, if not my least favorite book that I read last year. Like, I just did not vibe with that book at all. And so I was very, very nervous because, like I said, with Emily Henry's other 2 books, like, I had one that was like, oh my gosh, perfect book, I need to read it again. The other one was like, I never want to read this book again. If I never see it again, it'll be too soon. Anyways, so I was nervous for this one, but I loved it. I don't know if I love it more than Beach Read. I think I'm going to have to reread that one to see, but you can see I did tab a lot. I loved this one. This one gave me such Gilmore Girl vibes. Specifically, it gave me Luke and Lorelai vibes. Like, if you remember their banter from the earlier seasons with Luke's, like, just dry sense of humor, that was Charlie.
It's big, fat, happy sunshine day for me.
And, I mean, I loved it. I ate up every minute of it. In fact, there is this one scene in here where they go to, like, a town hall meeting or something, and it is so very, like, on par with Gilmore Girls in the town hall meeting. I just pictured Taylor Dosey and his gravel and Miss Patty over in the corner. Like I said, I just loved this book. It was so good. It was so light. It was a good time. There were some heavier topics in here, but I mean, it wasn't really that. Like, Nora just loved her little sister. She did everything for her little sister. And as an older sister myself, I love and respect that. But this was a 5 out of 5 for me. Okay, and then I read To Hate Adam Connor by Ella Maise. I had read To Love Jason Thorne back in December, so I don't know why I took so long to read this one. Now, I actually think, well, maybe not with Evelyn and Hugo, but this is probably one of my favorite reads of this month, maybe in the last few months. I love the single parent trope. My personal life is actually the single parent trope. I met my husband when he was a single father to a 3-year-old boy, so that is my life. And so I really like hold the single parent trope for a special place in my heart. This book was so good. It was enemies to lovers. The banter was great. I loved Lucy. I loved Adam. I loved Adam's son, Aiden. It was just so cute. So this is going to be a Hollywood romance where he's an actor and everything like that. So you're going to have, you know, problems with the paparazzi and hiding your life. And I really liked it. And I especially really appreciated Adam and his dedication to his son and how important it was to keep Aiden out of the spotlight. When this book picks up, Adam is going through a divorce, or he's like newly divorced from his wife. So there is a lot of press and there's a lot of paparazzi surrounding them because of like custody battles and everything, and I just really appreciated how Adam handled everything for his son. Okay, and then I read The Words by Ashley Jade on my Kindle. I had a friend on my Bookstagram, Stephanie. She was like raving about this one for like a straight week. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to try this. So this is going to be a second chance rock star romance. And normally I don't like rock star romances, but I really loved this one. This one has plus size representation, which I love. Our MC, she was plus size, and I highlighted a lot in this one just because of a lot of things she said. It felt like, I felt it in my soul. Like when she's like, I can't eat a cheeseburger in front of a hot guy. You know, I'm not a size 2, you know, you can't do that. And I feel that, you know. And so I just really, really like this book. Normally, I'm not a fan of second chance romances, if I'm being honest, because sometimes I feel like if it didn't work out the first time, why are we going back to a second time? And a lot of the times with second chance romances, I don't feel like the reason they're not talking is good enough sometimes. Like sometimes it's just something really stupid, like a misunderstanding. This was not a misunderstanding. He totally screwed her over to get famous, and I loved it. I loved the story. There was, some of it felt a little bit like a bully romance to me with the way he treated her, but I love bully romances. But anyway, I loved this book. It was a 4.5, maybe 4.25. It was really long. It was a long book, and I think that's why I docked it a bit, because I felt like it could have been condensed, especially at the end. I feel like the end was really long, and it didn't need to be that long. But either way, I still really enjoyed it. It was a fun read. Okay, and then wrapping us up for the month, I read Most of All You by Mia Sheridan. I actually had ordered this back in the fall, the same time that I ordered Archer's Voice. I read Archer's Voice in October. It was like my number 2 favorite read of last year of all time. Like, I still think about that book. It lives rent-free in my mind. And so I have no idea why I was waiting so long for this one, because I knew this one was also going to be kind of good boy, bad girl dynamic, and I loved this one. It was very different from anything I've ever read. So you have Crystal and you have Gabriel, and Crystal is a stripper, and when our story picks up, Crystal is obviously working at the strip club, and she looks over at a guy who's sitting at a table, and instantly in her head she's like, this guy does not belong here. And in his head, when you get to his POV, he says the same thing. She does not belong here. She's not supposed to be working here. There's something very, very different about her. So Gabriel has a traumatic past. So he was actually kidnapped as a child, and he was chained in a basement for 6 years. He escaped when he was a teenager, and he just has not been able to feel closeness with anyone for his life. And so he goes to this strip club with intentions of hiring one of the women to kind of just teach him how to talk to women and touch them and stuff like that. And so he chooses Crystal for this. And Crystal has her own traumatic past and stuff going on. And so the closer they get, she keeps telling him, I'm not the person to do this for you. And he's like, yes, you are. You are the perfect person. I would look up trigger warnings for sexual assault and everything like that. This book does get deep and heavy. I loved it. Like I said, I tabbed a lot. I highlighted a lot. Gabriel was absolutely perfect. And obviously with his name being Gabriel, she keeps making references to him being an angel and how she doesn't deserve him. And like I said, this book was just so sweet. So if you are looking for a good wholesome book that may or may not, you know, give you some tears but still really pulls at the heartstrings, definitely give this one a try. Alright guys, so that is going to do it for all the books that I read in May. I think I read like a total of 13 or 14. Still a good month. I am so excited for June. June is my birthday month. I am turning 30. Hold your applause please, because I'm like crying and dying inside. But anyways, I have some really fun summer reads on my list for the month of June. I have so many books I want to get to. I am so excited. So I will probably have some summer rec videos coming soon. But anyways, I will see you guys next time. Bye!